Hi students, welcome back to another session of botany. In this section of botany, that is ecology and environment, we are going to take up the fourth and the last chapter, that is environmental issues. So this chapter is going to cover air and water pollution, their sources, major pollutants causing these pollutions, global warming, climate change, ozone depletion, noise pollution, radioactive pollution, and lastly, the methods of pollution control. We are also going to have a brief idea about bioremediation. So let's begin. So before we begin discussing different types of pollution, we must know exactly what is pollution. We can define pollution as the introduction of contaminant in the natural environment, anything that disturbs the natural balance. So we can categorize pollution into various types such as air pollution, water pollution, thermal pollution, noise pollution, and radioactive pollution. These names are self-explanatory and we can easily make out that air pollution is related to the pollution of air. In water pollution, various pollutants or contaminants are introduced in the water. Thermal pollution is related to unnatural temperature. Noise pollution is caused due to disturbing and unwanted noise around living beings that disturbs natural processes. Then we have the radioactive pollution caused due to the emission of radioactive substances which cross the safe limit that is prescribed. So let's discuss what causes each of these types of pollution and what are the various methods of control that can be used to prevent it. So let's begin with the first type of pollution that we stated, that is air pollution. Now we all know that the atmosphere is a complex dynamic gaseous system around the earth that is essential for the existence of life on this planet. So we can define air pollution as the contamination of the atmosphere by such matter which causes discomfort or harm to the living organisms. These harmful contaminants can be in the form of gases or liquids or suspended particles. Pollution can be found outdoor as well as indoor. The outdoor pollution is generally observed in the form of smoke, chlorofluorocarbons, which can be called freons or CFCs in brief, acid rain, etc. We are going to discuss all these terms that we are using recently in this chapter so that it will become much more clear to you. Many pollutants get trapped inside the buildings for a long period of time as well, and they cause indoor air pollution. Indoor air pollution and urban air pollution have been categorized as the two of the worst pollution problems of this world. Now, those substances that contaminate the air or the atmosphere and are harmful to the living organisms are termed as air pollutants. They can be in the form of gases, suspended solid particles, or liquid droplets. They can be natural or man-made. Being located in the air, it is easier for the air pollutants to travel. We can classify these air pollutants into two broad types. First is the primary pollutants and the second type is the secondary pollutants. Primary pollutants are those pollutants that are directly emitted from a process. For example, ashes erupted from a volcano is a primary pollutant, or carbon monoxide emitted from a vehicle's exhaust can also be a primary pollutant. Now, secondary pollutants are those pollutants that are formed by the reaction or interaction of primary pollutants. One of the major examples is ground level ozone. We are soon going to discuss how this is formed. Then there are certain pollutants which can be classified as primary as well as secondary pollutants because they may be directly emitted from the source as well as formed by the reaction or interaction of primary pollutants. So let's discuss each of these types of pollutants. So let's begin with the primary pollutants that are directly emitted from a process. We are going to discuss some of the major primary air pollutants. So the first one, oxides of sulfur. Among the oxides of sulfur, sulfur dioxide is the major pollutant. Its chemical formula is SO2. It is produced by volcanoes, industrial processes, combustion of sulfur containing fuels such as coal and petroleum. Its oxidation into sulfuric acid, especially in the presence of catalysts such as nitrogen dioxide, causes acid rain. We are going to discuss what exactly is acid rain and what are its effects in the next coming slides. It is also a component of smoke, and it reflects the sunlight, and somehow it helps in keeping the earth cool. The next class of major primary pollutants are the oxides of nitrogen, among which nitrogen oxide is the major pollutant. It is a reddish-brown toxic gas with a very sharp odor. It is produced in high-temperature combustion. It causes a brown haze or a reddish-brown plume. It is considered as a very important air pollutant. The next important class of primary pollutants is the oxides of carbon, which consists of carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. Carbon monoxide, whose chemical formula is CO, is a colorless, odorless and highly toxic gas. It is produced by incomplete combustion of fuels. The complete combustion produces carbon dioxide. Its major source is vehicular exhaust.